Dr. Clifford said, I am a student at the University of Texas at Austin. My family and I immigrated from Uruguay in 2002. It seems like it was just yesterday when we emigrated, but hopefully I'll get to share a little bit about my story from a little bit of a different perspective, and perhaps I consider myself quite luckier now listening to Martha speak and the struggles that she faced. We always think that our experiences were the toughest ones until you hear the stories of others. So my point really, it is to share the story of my family immigrating, but hopefully some lessons for many of your peers in the audience, and it's just something to learn from, perhaps. So today, I guess I'll go over a little bit of my family's decision to emigrate, how pretty much leaving it all behind, then our arrival to New Jersey first, then to Virginia, and how it was for me to sort of figure the whole system out in terms of attending college, since that was the whole idea behind emigrating Uruguay for my family, and then how I got to where I am today at the University of Texas. So again, right now I'm a government major at the University of Texas at Austin, and I am a leadership coordinator, as Dr. Clifford said, at the Leadership and Ethics Institute, coordinating programs for first-year students to sort of develop leadership skills at the university. And then we spent a college fund this past summer. But going back. Okay, so it all begins again in 2002 when my family made the decision to emigrate. Up until then, I consider myself pretty lucky, not too many concerns, going to a good private Catholic school, my family being in a good economic situation in Uruguay until in 2000, economic crisis hit, and my parents were just working very hard to sort of get out and, trying to work more, 12, 15 hours a day, trying to figure something out for things to get better. Until that one day, I remember in 2001, I remember it was near the end of December when my mom and I had just gotten out of school. It's one of those things that you can remember exactly where you were and what time it was and what you were wearing. I was 12 years old, I remember, and I was standing at the bus stop. I was wearing my uniform from school. It's just another day, finishing middle school, getting ready for high school the next year. And I remember she told me, Cecilia, we've been trying hard. I promise we've done everything we could, but I think your dad and I have made the decision that we're going to leave next month, and we're going to leave, and we're going to go to the United States, where we had some family friends who wholeheartedly and willing were opening the doors to their house for us, and sort of promising that upon arrival my family would have jobs and I could go to school and things would be so much better for me there, given that really the whole goal for my parents working hard in Uruguay and working hard here was for me to attend college. That was their whole dream, and I still think about it now and I figure, what are your dreams? For me to attend college, so it's quite something, like quite a responsibility, but for them to leave the country again, it was this goal in mind for me to attend college. So for that whole month in December, I had to hold a promise to my parents that I would not tell my friends that we were leaving. A lot of families were migrating from Uruguay during those days, and it was getting really porcupine asking, like, oh, you're leaving, and why? So I had to keep it to myself, and here I was, having a good time with friends, trying to hide the fact that it was the last time I would probably see them for now 7 years now. So I remember now another time, I like to call it the door when I think about it. After spending the last night at home, I remember in the same four walls that I lived for 13 years of my life. Now the place was completely desolated at home. I remember sleeping on the floor and looking at the walls and thinking, wow, maybe tomorrow I'll wake up and everything will be different. It was just a dream. We're not going. We're not leaving. So after having packed the better clothes, the better shoes, the warmer jackets to hit the winter in the United States, again, I remember just laying down there and hoping that there was some way to go back, because at that point, being 12 years old, 13, had just turned 13, I sort of thought that, I knew where I was spending in life at that point, and having a really good group of friends, and it was hard to leave. sort of that stage in my life. I kind of felt that that stage was sort of frozen, and that's part of my childhood or teenage years. But the morning did come, and in the same backyard where I like to say all my childhood memories were built, stood 4 suitcases and a line of cars waiting with friends and family to take us to the airport. And I remember, I mean, once we made the decision to emigrate, our family became so much stronger, and I think that's what really sort of made me think maybe I really want to stay now. I wish we could stay because our family were so much closer now that they knew we were leaving. It's kind of ironic how it works, because when you know that you're separating, when you're going in separate ways, you kind of become stronger. So again, and again, another moment when sometimes again you remember, you keep those live moments in your mind. And I remember we were right there in the backyard of our house, and there it was, the door got shut, and I remember it was one of those big wood doors that in my grandparents' house, I remember we could just simply slam it and it would lock, and this time there was no going back, and it was sort of, I like to think of it as if the house had just shaken as I saw my mom and my grandma just tearing up, and it was hard for me to just watch them cry, and I had to hold my tears because I sort of had to be strong, because we were leaving and there was no way of going back. And behind the doors were all of the rest of our clothes, the rest of my toys. I remember, I don't know if in the audience, when they were kids, if you had a toy that you really liked, and well, I had to pick that too. I could only bring that one teddy bear, which was a big deal at that time. And you know, I kind of wanted to ask, why not bring them all? Why can't we just take everything? But I had to keep that question to myself. There were definitely more important things to worry about then. But yes, so when we got to the airport in